Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here with my WWE Raw review for tonight, Monday, July 29th, 2013. Of course, this Raw was taped tonight from Texas because, Raw's on tour right now in China and Australia and South Africa. And this is why I don't watch SmackDown. Because of the live crowd overdubs. I hate when they overdub the crowd noises. And they're the same. You can tell. They're the same noises. I've heard these noises for years. They're the same overdub noises, effects they use for years on other taped events like SmackDown and all that. So, not only that to deal with, the World of SummerSlam continues slowly but surely. We have maybe little seeds for possible matches and a seed for a definite match at SummerSlam, especially knowing the SmackDown results from this upcoming Friday, since it was also taped this week, among other things. So let's get started with Raw, with Mr. McMahon bringing out Bryan Maddox. Of course, McMahon is disappointed in Bryan Maddox's decision on letting John Cena pick his opponent for SummerSlam. Or more specifically, McMahon is upset that Bryan Maddox's move to make Cena pick his opponent led to the decision that Cena made on Daniel Bryan being his opponent. McMahon was upset that D-Bryan was the one that was picked. Because basically, D-Bryan to McMahon ain't the strong bodybuilding type that McMahon wants to be a champion. McMahon's he's a troll, Basically, almost, but not exactly, calling him basically a goat face. Troll, short, blah, 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 blah. But then he had a big twist by saying that not only did he like Daniel Bryan, he didn't like John Cena either. Because he said, well, John Cena walks like he owns the place. He is right on that. John Cena does walk around like he owns the place, especially since he walks around telling everybody, hey, I'm going to beat you. I don't care. I'm going to beat you. You're not going to beat me because I'm Super Cena. I'm Ego Cena. Not letting anyone else beat me. Not letting anyone else be champion but me. Because I'm John Cena. Super Cena. You know what I mean? I just had his attitude like that. That's right. That's the impression I get. That John Cena does walk around like he owns the place because he doesn't let anybody else beat him for the championship. He walks around holding the title all the time. Because he's like, I'm the guy, and you're not. That's what it seems to me. That's John Cena's on-screen attitude. But then as D-Bryan was getting dissed by McMahon, Cena too for that matter, here comes D-Bryan to defend himself. Now, is it just me, or is this planting the seed for a possible McMahon-Daniel Bryan feud? Basically, some people are saying D-Bryan could be the next Stone Cold. Because McMahon's dissing Daniel Bryan, saying that Daniel Bryan doesn't deserve to be champion, he shouldn't be champion. And D-Bryan's going to be like basically, and that's what he did. He was like anti-authority. He's like, Vince, I don't care what you think. You've been honest with me, but I don't care what you think. It's about what the WWE fans think. The universe thinks. Of course, numerous thunderous yes chants. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, there could be a possible D-Bryan Vince McMahon feud going on, especially since they had a skit later on in the evening with Triple H and Vince saying that Vince, like, I want someone to beat Cena. Daniel Bryan can't beat Cena. And even Vince is like, I want someone like you, Triple H, only 25 years younger to beat Cena. And it's not Daniel Bryan. And then later on in that skit, Stephanie said, how do you give Daniel Bryan a corporate makeover? That could be a possible seed, the ultimate seed planning for the McMahon-Daniel Bryan feud. Because when the Austin McMahon feud happened, Austin did that corporate makeover. You remember 15 years ago when Austin came out dressing up in that suit. He had a corporate suit on. He went along with the act, even if he wore a baseball cap during that. He ran along with this, like, hey, I'm corporate. I'm going to be Mr. McMahon's corporate pet. Until he whipped off the corporate outfit and then attacked Vince again. So that's what I think Daniel Bryan could do if they do have the corporate makeover on Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan may do the same thing Austin did. Go along with the corporate hand saying, hey, I'll come for him. And then he'll whip it off and then probably put Vince in a no-lock. That's my thing they could probably do. To hype things up again. Playing the possible seeds for Daniel Bryan McMahon feud. That'd be very interesting. That's something different. WWE do that. Anyway, well, we'll see if the Vince McMahon Daniel Bryan feud goes anywhere. And Daniel Bryan asking the fans, do they want a new champ? Yes, we do, but I'm fearing, like I said, Cena having the power leverage that he has. And in my mind, I feel the power leverage, and unfortunately, has been handed down to his new girly friend, Brie Bella, which I'll explain when I get to her match later on in this review. So now, the fans on Daniel Bryan's side not caring Vince thinks, and seeing what happens if the McMahon Daniel Bryan feud goes anywhere, I win our first matchup for Raw, which was a 6-man tag. Mark Henry teaming up with Jimmy and Jey Uso against the Shield, stemming from the attacks that the Shield has dealt not just Mark Henry, but the Usos as well, of course, signaling Mark Henry's face turn. His first face turn in probably 10 years. Probably since he was sexual chocolate. Surprised there was no sexual chocolate, James, but hey, this is Texas. Anyway, stupid comment. Anyway, the Usos and Mark Henry dominated early half of the matchup as Mark Henry basically started the matchup, and each of the Shield guys tried to tag themselves in and try to attack Henry, but of course Henry overpowered him. And then Mark Henry and the Usos basically gave the Shield a piece of their own medicine, doing what the Shield usually does during the 6-man tags, isolate the man in the corner and get the quick tags in, like the Shield does. You know, they like to isolate one man in the corner and get the double quick tags in. And that's what the Usos and Mark Henry did for the early half, like I said, giving Shield karma, little piece of their medicine with the isolating in the corner and the quick tags. But the Shield, you always see this with the Shield. The Shield always finds a way to get back in the game with some sneak, sly move. Cheap move, should I say. And despite the early fury from Henry and Usos, especially with the Usos doing that double fly move on the Shield, of course, Roman Reigns, the big powerhouse, helped the Shield get back in the game by dominating over Jey Uso, isolating him in his corner, isolating him and, of course, double teaming until Jey got the hot tag to Jimmy, who tried getting back in the game until Rollins got back in after the tag from Reigns. Getting the Shield back in the game, but delivering his own little offense move. But then Mark Henry got another hot tag in, delivering all of his big, powerful moves, slamming down everybody in sight, including Ambrose. But Rollins came back in, trying to deliver another big move at Henry, but Henry countered that. And then we got, of course, another big tag in from Jimmy Uso following the Mark Henry attack. And go for another big splash. Kicking out Rollins. Delivering a Samoan drop move for Ambrose. And with Jey and Mark Henry handling Reigns and Rollins outside. Jimmy was going to go for a big Superfly splash until Dean Ambrose put his knees up, blocked the move, went for his big finisher, and the 1-2-3 victory for the Shield. But even if the Shield won, it was Mark Henry who had the last word, attacking Ambrose from behind following the matchup, tossing him out of the ring as Usos and Mark Henry stood tall despite the loss. So there you go, the Shield with the victory over Usos and Mark Henry. Now we saw a segment after that involving Ryback sending his own little message to John Cena for the table match this evening, slamming a random person through a table. Like, some random scripted person, like maybe some indie wrestler looking to be squashed by Ryback in that way. Now on our next match, which involved Rob Van Dam taking on Fandango. Basically, it was the inexperience against the experience. And indeed, RVD experience won out in the early half of the matchup as RVD's veteran moves, including, of course, the Big Monkey Flip and the Rolling Thunder, dominated the matchup and really gave Fandango hell and punishing Fandango to hell. And Fandango was getting so many hits from RVD, and RVD was delivering all he had and was ready to deliver the finishing blow onto Fandango following, like I said, the Rolling Thunder and the Monkey Flip, ready to deliver. At one point, he was probably going to set up the 5-star Frog Splash at a certain point in the matchup. But for some reason, deflected the referee, Fandango had enough of the punishment dealt to him by RVD, walked down the bench, basically getting himself counted out. So RVD got the victory by a count out over Fandango, following a loss to Alberto Del Rio on Friday on SmackDown after Del Rio's little cheap move, kick, after distracting from the referee on SmackDown. So there you go. RVD wins by count out. Now we have our next match. We involved a non-title match. Caitlyn against AJ. The Brutal Divas match. I hope everyone did the same thing as I did during this match. Not just during this match, but during the premiere of Total Divas. Fell asleep. Seriously, I fell asleep during this match. Because like I said, I think every Divas match we should fall asleep too. Especially this one. It was another slow-going matchup. I was, like I said, falling asleep doing it. Like I said, I hope everyone did that too. Or went to the bathroom. Or something like that to get away from this matchup. Especially, like I said, I hope people did fall asleep during that Divas paper, during that Total Divas show, despite the high ratings. And like I said in my attack line, you didn't see my attack line today during my Raw preview. I said that more people watch a reality show about wrestling than actual wrestling. In other words, more people watch Total Divas than watch TNA. That is sad. That Total Divas get more ratings than TNA. That is sad. Anyway, and it's more sad that Total Divas weighed higher than the Kardashians. That's what he said. That's what he said. Anyway, Colt AJ coming off a slew of embarrassments and humiliations by Dolph Ziggler, who would sneak his little head in after this matchup. 4 weeks of humiliations to Caitlyn. Like I said, AJ was dealt a piece of her own medicine after embarrassing and humiliating Caitlyn. AJ is now being embarrassed and humiliated, especially despite AJ trying to get another big win and clear her head after being distracted by this whole Dolph Ziggler thing. Caitlyn delivered another big humiliating blow for the Divas champ by spearing the hell out of AJ again and getting a 1-2-3 victory, signaling and teasing another possible match for Caitlyn to finish her payback and get the ultimate humiliation for AJ. Humiliating AJ again by pinning her again, this time winning back the Divas Championship. But till then, like I said, Dolph Ziggler stuck his head in after this matchup to challenge Biggie Langston. Now this match I thought was possibly destined to be built for a Summerslam match. Well, it still may take place at SummerSlam, especially with the ending of this matchup. So Dolph Ziggler, like I said, impromptu challenge match against Biggie Langston. Of course, Biggie tried to use his big power and dominate the matchup. And only going. And it's kind of weird to see Biggie during the matchup. You saw Biggie saying, "Your time is up. My time is now." What is he, the new John Cena? You know, he's like saying to Dolph throughout the matchup, you know, "Your time is up. My time is now." You know, me basically saying, "You're over, Blondie. It's my turn. Big man's gonna be the man." You know, so Biggie's the man now, not you. Basically, that's what Biggie was saying to Dolph as he was dealing out punishment to the show off. But needing to show off his style, Dolph Ziggler did came flying back with some offense of his own, following the initial fury from the Big E man. But as Dolph was getting back in the game, it was ready to deliver a big move to Big E possibly win the matchup here. AJ kind of sensed the tables were turning. AJ saw Big E dominate the early half of the matchup, but unfortunately saw Big E get counted and saw the comeback attempt by Dolph Ziggler. Of course, the old saying goes, "I'll have no fury for a woman scorned." And AJ wasn't going to have Dolph Ziggler make the comeback like that. So as Dolph Ziggler was basically close to putting an air in Big E's coffin, AJ got involved, got in the ring, and started slapping around Dolph Ziggler, causing the disqualification victory for Dolph. But after the slumping around from AJ, Dolph did end up delivering a zigzag to Biggie Langston anyway. So Dolph Ziggler got the win by DQ, but like I said, although I thought this match was destined for SummerSlam, it is going to possibly still happen for SummerSlam, especially with the ending. There was no real winner. It was by disqualification. So I think Dolph Ziggler and Big E will still happen at SummerSlam, especially since now Dolph Ziggler's out of the title picture and feuding with Big E. So like I said, Big E, Dolph Ziggler, possibly for SummerSlam after the ending of this matchup with Dolph winning by DQ. Speaking of matches that may not only be possible for SummerSlam, but probably be definite for SummerSlam after this match on Raw tonight, on our next matchup, which involved Christian taking on the World Champion El Puto del Rio, of course non-title, and this is the last week without Ricardo Rodriguez. Of course, JBL's out climbing a mountain, and Ricardo's been suspended for the last couple weeks, and Ricardo is set to, I think his suspension ends this week, and a return on Raw possibly next week. So this was the last week orderless Raw for Del Rio. And what was weird to me was the crowd reaction. This was in Texas. Mostly, full of minorities. Latinos, Spanish people, Mexicans, who speak Spanish. Mexico. There's a lot of Mexico chants for Del Rio, despite the fact Del Rio was the heel. And Christian's the face, and Christian didn't get much reaction. I've been saying that a lot lately. Christian hasn't given much reaction. And if Christian may end up getting a title match, which he possibly will after the end of this matchup, who knows? Christian needs a lot of crowd reaction quick here. And Christian tried to get the crowd reacting by trying to get the early advantage in the matchup by going for his Captain Charisma moves. But of course, Del Rio going for his Aristocat, Lucha Libre Mexican moves. But of course, delivering some big nasty kicks. And of course, focusing on the one bunny part he likes to weaken the most to deliver his big finisher, the Cross-Arm Breaker. He started weakening the arm by nailing Christian shoulder first against the steel steps. Weakening the arm, and of course, basically targeting the arm throughout the later half of the matchup, following an attack to Christian on the steel steps. Even putting him in the trio war at one point, delivering further damage to the shoulder. Of course, like I said, weakening it long enough to sink in the big finish, the Cross-Arm Breaker. But Christian had his own little Daniel Bryan kind of never say that attitude by fighting back, delivering a tornado DDT. But every move Christian did, unfortunately, couldn't capitalize fully because he couldn't hook the leg at one point of Del Rio because of his arm hurting him. But after Christian's little second win, Del Rio killed the second win at one point by delivering his own tilt-a-roar backbreaker. But Christian kept coming wide at Del Rio, even signaling for a spear. But Alberto Del Rio avoided the spear. And then got a big insecurity kick attempt, but Christian countered out of that to set up his kill switch move. But then the kill switch was countered by Del Rio, signaling and setting up the Cross-Arm Breaker. But as Del Rio was waiting to sink in the Cross-Arm Breaker on Christian countered out of the Cross-Arm Breaker with a roll-up in a 1-2-3 victory for Christian, pinning the World Champion. Setting up a possible, not just possible, but definite title match for SummerSlam, because if you read the SmackDown spoilers for this week, Del Rio is allowed to name his opponent for SummerSlam, like Brad Maddox let John Cena pick his opponent for SummerSlam, being Daniel Bryan, where Vicky Guerrero wants to monkey see monkey do that by letting Del Rio name his opponent, which will be naming this Friday. And like I said, SmackDown was taped as well this week because of this tour schedule. So you'll probably be picking Christian, and you will pick Christian, especially if you read the spoilers. I didn't read the spoilers, but I've been reading some people posting that Christian's going to face Del Rio. And it's possibly and will happen. Christian against Del Rio for the World Championship. I like Christian. I just wish the crowd could like him more. I like Christian. But I hope he doesn't get screwed like he did for his last title win. And if Christian does win it, Money in the Bank, not Money in the Bank, SummerSlam. I did quote Money in the Bank for a moment because I hope that if Christian does win at SummerSlam, I'll be pissed if they have Sandow cash the Money in the Bank on Christian, as I'll be pissed if they let Randy Orton cash in on Daniel Bryan if Daniel Bryan beats Cena, and that's a big if, at SummerSlam. And speaking of Money in the Bank, of course, the holder of the world out of Money in the Bank, Damian Sandow, really even have the briefcase to cash in, especially since Cody Rhodes threw the briefcase off to the Gulf of Mexico on SmackDown last week, as we saw the recap before Cody Rhodes' matchup against Wade Barrett. Of course, Wade Barrett's been on a losing end for a couple weeks ever since losing the IC Championship. It is a two-man that many people thought was going to win. Either one of them should have won Money in the Bank in their minds. In my mind, too. But anyway, I thought Ambrose was going to win, but I think Cody Rhodes and Wade Barrett would have been second or third pick to win Money in the Bank for the SmackDown World Title briefcase. So Wade Barrett dominated earlier in the matchup, but of course his bare knuckles, hard knock style, his brawling style of wrestling. Dominated early half with that. But then Cody came back with his fast-paced, high-flying, dashing style. I like the nickname for Cody, even though I didn't like his speaking style for promos. I hated when he had that annoying voice for promos. He got better at promos, but losing that voice when he delivered promos. So, anyway, of course, Wade Barrett was, like I said, dominant for early half until Cody came back with his, like I said, his dashing, fast-paced, high-flying moves with some great knees and great kicks. Even trying to deliver a beautiful disaster kick at one point. But then Wade came out of that and delivered a kick of his own. As Wade Barrett was going to set up a pop handle slam, possibly setting up for either the wasteland or the bullhammer elbow. Cody came out of that and delivered his own little other finisher besides a disaster kick. Of course, referring to the Crossroads. And a 1-2-3 victory for Cody Rhodes. After the matchup, here comes the briefcase-less Damian Sandow, like I mentioned, fuming at Cody for, like I said, throwing the briefcase into the Gulf of Mexico, and with him not finding it, he filed a complaint to WWE's offices, and, he wants to fight Cody, but they called him a clown. He could have made fun of Dusty Rhodes' polka dots. Suck his polka dots. Silly comment again, but anyway. There's another match I think is going to happen at SummerSlam. And if Sandow even does get back his Money in the Bank briefcase, which he probably will, storyline-wise, he'll get Money in the Bank briefcase back. He'll probably find him a new one. But it never gave Dolph Ziggler a new briefcase. Even if the briefcase was... Because you saw Dolph Ziggler hold on to his briefcase all battered and smashed in. They never gave him a new one. That's what they're probably going to do with Sandow. Still give him the old one if they even find the old one. Which they probably did after the taping. And if they do storyline find it, he'll probably put up the briefcase in his match against Cody at SummerSlam, which, like I said, is probably going to happen. And hopefully they don't relegate that match for the pre-show. And we'll probably find out the pre-show match in the next couple weeks. So now, on with the next matchup, which involved Kane, Daniel Bryan. Once again, a match made by Vince McMahon to make Daniel Bryan prove yet again why he deserves the championship match. Like I said, it's planning a scene for the possible McMahon Daniel Bryan feud. That would be very interesting if that feud does come to fruition. So, anyway, Kane, of course, came in. Of course, these two former tag team championship partners. As part of Team Hell No, Kane used his power and strength to, of course, carry the early of the matchup, even delivering some of his big high-flying moves, including, of course, the big clothesline off the top. I think he tried it a few times. But, of course, D-Bryan, with his never say die, keep fighting attitude, came back with his fast-paced style, with the big knees, including a big flying knee off the wing apron to Kane on the outside. And, of course, delivering all the big kicks. The yes, ooh, yes kicks. But as Daniel Bryan, he doesn't always, it's just me always, Daniel Bryan always seemed to fail at the final yes kick. The yes, counted. That's what happened when Kane counted the last attempt for a big kick by D-Bryan following that fury of kicks. And Kane did try to chokeslam numerous times, so then D-Bryan tried a yes lock on Kane. He did try to yes lock once, but Kane counted out of that, powered out of that, should I say. But then as Kane was trying to deliver the chokeslam yet again to D-Bryan, like we saw Christian do to Del Rio, countering the cross-arm breaker to a roll-up pin in the victory for Christian, D-Bryan did the same, countering out of the chokeslam to his own roll-up in a 1-2-3 victory for Daniel Bryan. But I think Kane's head wasn't in the right place. Kane might have been trying to focus on D-Bryan, but he had another thing lingering in his head. This was Kane's first match since getting attacked and being the first victim of the Wyatt family when they debuted right before Money in the Bank, taking Kane out of the Money in the Bank match. And Kane wanted the Wyatt family. He wanted a piece of them, and he thought they weren't there. And I thought they weren't there either. We haven't seen the Wyatt family for weeks, since the last attack on R-Truth 2 weeks ago. But the answer to my question of where the Wyatt family is was answered. As the screen went blank, went to the Wyatt family creepy intro, lights out, and the Wyatt family, Bray, along with his two disciples, his sheep, should I say, Harper and Rowan, came out to the ring with the lights out, that creepy entrance. Like I said, that entrance is nailed perfectly every time, Lights out, walking creepily, the music, it just sets the mood every time. So, Bray walking out with the lantern again, sitting in his rocking chair, blowing the lantern out. But Kane went straight for Bray, went straight for the rocking chair, ready to beat up on Bray, until Rowan and Harper went for the 2-on-1 numbers game, teaming on Kane until Kane did try to outpower the man and try to fight off the numbers. But like every other multiple 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 attack, like a shield attack, the numbers did get to Kane eventually, as Harper and Rowan took care of Kane and attacked him, setting up the finish for Bray, as he set up Kane for his finisher, kissing him on the forehead and delivering his STO move. I don't know the real finisher name yet, but then Bray, besides delivering that statement physically, he delivered a verbal message to Kane, besides delivering a physical message by saying to Kane, "Kane, you call yourselves the devil's favorite demon. Well, that ain't true, my friend, because I gotta tell you a secret. You gotta be careful about who you say that to, because you never know who is listening." So, quick message sent for Kane by the Wyatt family, with D-Bar getting the victory against Kane, but Kane got dealt another attack by the Wyatt family. Rowan, Harper, and Bray. Husky Harris. Glad there was no Husky Harris chants lately. I'm glad. I'm glad that the smart fans decided not to chant Husky Harris's name anymore. It ruined his gimmick like they did to Tenzai when they kept chanting Albert, Albert, and of course Goldberg to my back. Now on to our next matchup. Brie Bella against Natalya. Like I said, because John Cena is dating Brie Bella, and I think Daniel Bryan's dating Nikki. If you see that in the promos for that shitty-ass Total Diva show for next week, and like I said in the beginning, that John Cena has power, has leverage in the company by having everybody lose to him all the time and him being the champ all the time. I think the leverage is getting to Brie Bella as well. Like, Brie's like, "Hey, my boyfriend's beating up everybody, and he's the man. I'm going to be the girl and beat up on all the other divas, even divas who are more talented than I am." Quote referring to Natalya. God, I'll give Natalya so much credit for putting up so much shit in the last couple years. WWE's made her look like a fool. Ever since breaking up the Hart Dynasty, Natty Natalya's been put through these silly-ass situations with the farting gimmick, being stuck with Great Khali and Hornswoggle, and now they're making her look like a fool yet again by calling her the ugly duckling. Unfortunately, that's the unfortunate truth of WWE's focus on the Divas division. That WWE's focusing more on looks than brawn. They want to look for models who can't wrestle for shit than women who can fucking wrestle. Natalya can wrestle. And I got this message to send to Natalya. And I hate to say this. Natalya, leave WWE. Go to TNA, where they treat their wrestling divas better, or knockouts better. They let the knockouts wrestle. Not act like, not make them look like fucking fools like WWE's doing to Natalya. And you can tell that because Brie Bella, all she fucking did was headlocks and chinlocks. Because she doesn't know any other fucking moves. Natalya at least tried to carry the match wrestling-wise. Until she got distracted as she was putting on the sharpshooter by Nikki, using a duck call, emphasizing on the ugly duckling thing, enabling Brie to get the victory. Like I said, I feel bad for Natty. I'll give her credit for putting up to this shit. But I hope when it does come time for Natty to renew a contract with WWE, that she sings 2 songs to him. That she sings the Jenny Paycheck song, take this job and shove it, and I'm not going to take it anymore. We're not going to take the twisted sister. And she's like, I'm not going to put up with your crap anymore. I'm not going to make me look like a fool. I'm going to go to TNA where they actually let their women wrestle. And not look like dumbasses and have all the pretty ones beat the ones who can fucking wrestle. That's my little rant on the Divas division. I've been saying that in my reviews, not just on here, but my TNA reviews. Hey, I watch both, I'm not a Pacific fan more for one company. I like both equally. So, I've been saying all along, Knockouts division's a better division than Divas. They can actually fucking wrestle. They let them wrestle. Despite Bruce Pritchard trying to hold them down in TNA. So, there you go. Brie Bella, the talentless bimbo bitch whore, gets a victory over the talented and should be pushed a lot more until she finally makes the decision to go to TNA with a treat her better, Natalya. Now, on with the main event involving that egomaniac John Cena taking on Ryback, Goldberg, Ryback, Goldberg, what do you want to call him? Ryback, taking on Cena, like I said, tables match. God, can't believe they decided to rehash this feud. And the matches kind of sucked. Well, the only good match they had was the last man standing match at Extreme Rules was the only good match they had. But the ambulance match at the Payback pay-per-view, God, that match sucked. And this match sucked too. But before we get to that main event, there's one event I forgot to say before we got to John Cena and Ryback. Curtis Axel against R-Truth. And it's just me and R-Truth get a haircut. And I had a sneaky feeling that CM Punk would get involved in the matchup, especially to try to get his hands on Paul Heyman, which he did. R-Truth tried to, but before Punk did get involved, Truth tried to fight off Axel with his high-flying hip-hoppy moves until Axel came back with his own perfect moves and his barrel style and his hard knock style. But it looked like it was going to be another Axel squash. Here comes CM Punk to attack Axel to try to get his hands on the ultimate target, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman tried to run. He even tried to run through the crowd. But as Heyman tried to escape, Punk grabbed him and was ready to deliver full punishment to the man who turned his back on the Punk man. That was until Axel got his hands on Punk to let Heyman make the escape. But Axel didn't get away empty-handed by Punk delivering his own little justice on Axel, beating him outside the ring, delivering not just a message to Paul Heyman, but a message to Brock Lesnar for the match at SummerSlam. I'm kind of looking forward to the match at SummerSlam, but not that much because after seeing Brock Lesnar's terrible match against Triple H last year, because Brock Lesnar beats people up. That's what he'll do to Punk. I love Punk, but Punk has no chance because Brock Lesnar's not a wrestler anymore. He's a brawler. He's a fighter. He's like I say, he was trained to be in UFC to beat people up. And speaking of people who likes to beat people up, onto that main event, like I mentioned, John Cena taking on Goldberg, Ryback, what do you want to call him? Ryback, in a tables match. And like I said before, I forgot to mention the Axel R-Truth match. Like I said, the best match was Extreme Rules. The match of Payback sucked. The ambulance match, this match sucked too because it was slow going. And I even predicted the ending. The ending was so predictable. I could have predicted it, and I did. So anyway, this match was boring, slow going because these two can't wrestle much, especially Ryback. Like I said, he beats people up. Ryback's like Brock Lesnar, but worse. He really hurts people. You saw what happened with Daniel Bryan last week. Like every time that Ryback delivered a move to Daniel Bryan, it was like stiff. That's Ryback. He's stiff. Every move he hits is like boom, hard hitting. That's what Ryback is. His own brand of ruthless aggression. So anyway, and during the matchup, it was slow going. Every time one of them, Cena tried to get Ryback through the table, Ryback would block it. Same with Cena blocking every attempt. Ryback tried to put him through a table. The only weapon they used besides table, and they did use the table as a weapon. As Cena nailed Ryback, he threw a table at him, and Ryback threw a table. The only other weapon they used was the steel steps. No chairs, no nothing. And, like they tried, it was like slow going, trying to be back and forth, but it actually was, like I said, almost like a typical Super Cena match. Cena got beat up, by Ryback. As Ryback tried every attempt in the book to try to put Cena through a table. And Cena kept fighting back, even delivering the 5 moves of doom with the STFU, even though it didn't count because there was a tables match. And delivering 5 knuckle shuffle. And like I said, the ending was so predictable. I did it. I knew it, and I predicted it. After the final knuckle shuffle attempt, Ryback came flying back, trying to deliver a shell shock. Cena got out of that, but then Cena eventually got rehooked. And I said after that rehook, Cena was being lifted up by Ryback. And I predicted the ending, like I said. I said, Ryback's going to try to put Cena through a table with his shell shock move, but then Cena would counter it, deliver the FU through the table in the corner, and he'll win. That's what happened. Ryback was going for a big move, like I said, probably a shell shock through the table, set up in the turnbuckle corner to Cena. Cena countered out of that shell shock through the table, delivered the FU through the table to Ryback, and got the victory. Super Cena victory. But as Cena was celebrating, here comes his opponent at SummerSlam, Daniel Bryan, among the sea of tables being laid out outside the ring. D-Bryan eventually grabbed Cena's WWE Championship belt. It looked like D-Bryan and Cena's mutual respect for each other was going to continue by basically Bryan handing the belt to Cena. Whereas D-Bryan was having the belt in his hands, Cena was trying to grab it. Like, Cena's like, give me it. D-Bryan's like, you're not getting it. It's going to be mine. But then basically Cena had to fight it off D-Bryan. Like, D-Bryan had a belt like this. And Cena's like, give me it. Give me that fucking belt. I'm John Cena, bitch. I'm the guy who likes to bury people. I'm going to bury you at SummerSlam. We hope not, like I keep saying. So, D-Bryan got the belt taken from him from Cena, saying you got a long way to go. And then we end Raw with Cena and Daniel Bryan, nose to nose, with D-Bryan and the crowd leading in yes, 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 as Raw went off the air. So there you go, kind of an okay episode for being an 8th episode. So we got the D-Bryan John Cena feud slowly building. A possible D-Bryan McMahon feud building. That would be kind of good if they nail it. If they go for that. If they're going for McMahon D-Bryan feud, like an Austin McMahon feud part in this new generation of wrestling, it'd be very interesting. It'd be something different. Especially if they try to get D-Bryan a corporate makeover, like Stephanie said in that backstage segment we saw. So we'll see what happens on Raw next couple weeks. We may see another D-Bryan Cena feud building. Of course, maybe see Brock Lesnar make more appearances. The tease match against CM Punk. And of course, like I said, Christian against the Wheel for the World title be made official this week on SmackDown. And Dolph Ziggler Big E could be made. And of course, AJ and Caitlyn could be made. And possibly Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes could be made for SummerSlam. We'll see what matches get made for SummerSlam next week. Pre-show too. Possibly next couple weeks. But that is it for my Raw review for tonight. I'll see you all later. With that in mind, you've all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great night, everybody. Oh, yeah.